Start the recording. And I'm interested to see if we maybe get a retest of the monthly VWAP. I plotted it at the beginning of the new monthly candle. And so far we haven't been testing it for a while. Last time we got close to it was around 5th of September. Here we have the midnight open VWAP and the daily open VWAP. Our New York midnight level is sitting right here. We do not have news on Monday and Tuesday, but we have CPI on Wednesday and PPI and unemployment claims and retail sales. So plenty of red folder news at 8:30 on Thursday. In a bigger picture, we're still inside this daily bullish fair value gap, but I like what we see here. Yesterday I mentioned that I could see a potential inverse head and shoulder setup to play out here. Left shoulder, head and right shoulder. We broke the neckline. Retest and continue further to the upside. We will see about that. But what else can we see from an hourly? We have a hourly fair value gap, but we haven't closed above it. So I'm gonna look at that earlier on the 5-minute time frame where we had this initial run to the upside. We perfectly priced in this 1 hour fair value gap. Right here, that's that high at 3 a.m. and we rated the buy side liquidity already. No, let's plot that at the top. Alright, so we cleared that. The next 1 hour fair value gap to the downside would be down here towards the midnight level. We kept on holding support right here. We have that monthly VWAP above us. We're still inside this daily fair value gap, marked out with these blue lines right here, the one that ICT referred to as well. And he mentioned that he's not interested in taking a trade while price is still in between here, or inside that daily inefficiency. So we will see how today is going to deliver. If we go back to the 15 now, let's see what we're working with. We seem to hold support around that midnight open VWAP. We cleared this, or we filled in this 1 hour fair value gap high. We consolidate. Let me check out NASDAQ here. NASDAQ so clearly broke above the London session high. So did ES, but on a 15-minute chart, we closed above the London session high and left behind a beautiful 15-minute bullish fair value gap, 10-minute. Also on the 15, so we filled a 15, 10, and 5-minute bullish fair value gap, almost to the tick, and now we get a new scalper entry long. I like that more than what we see on ES right now, because here we do not have a fair value gap, a fair value gap at all that we can use really. Very efficient price delivery here. So right now I would prefer trading NASDAQ because we have an actual fair value gap that we can use to frame a potential trade idea. So we can, if we close below, we could exit the trade early. But at least we have a fair value gap. Here on ES we do not have one, unfortunately. That's the monthly VWAP, keep that in mind, this black line up here. Good reference point. And next buy side liquidity, I would say up here at all these equal highs. That's that 1 hour fair value gap. Last fair value gap before we clear this buy side. And then one more buy side right here at the high of the daily fair value gap. Let me see, let me mark out a few more things. Another bearish fair value gap might be interesting to see. So theoretically, we had a little 2022 model right here. We cleared a higher time frame point of interest. We cleared the London session high. We made a higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, and right here we shifted structure. We didn't confirm it with a candle close. This could also be a run for stops to pick up some energy to run back above. But let's check out NQ here. NQ here seems to be the leading one. Like I said, we have a nice fair value gap that we can work with here, unlike on ES. And even if we would close below it, we could frame a short after having cleared the SPY side. And ES seems to be picking up some momentum now too. If we leave behind a fair value gap inside this leg, I would be inclined to enter on that. If we leave one. So like right here. Cleared a short-term low. And if we just want to go to the daily here quickly, if you haven't watched my weekly outlook, right now we're inside this daily bearish fair value gap. Inside this one on here on the daily, inside the 1 hour fair value gap as well, right here. So let's see if we go to the 4 hour, also at the high of the 4 hour fair value gap. Interesting confluences here. Look, this 1 hour high perfectly is matching up with a 4 hour high of a bearish fair value gap. Inside a daily bearish fair value gap. Hey, Agent Smith, what's going on? This is really, I'd say, I don't know, this is a strong resistance. We have a 1 hour, 4 hour fair value gap inside a daily bearish fair value gap. We have the monthly VWAP above us, but really on the 4 hour, we do not have another fair value gap until here from the 4th of September. It's Monday, we do not have news on the calendar. Let's see. Inside a 4 hour bearish fair value gap, 1 hour bearish fair value gap, right at the high of it. Inside the 50% of this daily, is it? No, but I'm gonna keep that on. Like this. And now we drop it back down to the 15. For our fair value gap high, bounce off the VWAP, I like all that. Let's see if we leave behind that fair value gap. NQ already broke this high from 745 and is expanding. So let's see if we do leave behind a fair value gap, I'd like to enter on that. Right here to deliver into at least the monthly VWAP. We have the 50% of this daily fair value gap also sitting just here. We kept holding support on that first quarter. Keeping all these little confluences in back of our minds. Cleared short-term high. Yeah, wrong account. That's a London session account. London session account isn't going that well, but all the other ones. That's the funded Apex for the Scalper strategy. That's my New York session account right now. Been playing it slow. I'm also just going to use micros here. As long as we are still inside this daily bearish fair value gap and daily bullish fair value gap, I do not like to participate with minis. What? ICT's range inside of this daily fair value gap high right here. Let me go to the daily. in his last review. That's what he said. He's not pressing any buttons as long as we're inside this daily bullish fair value gap right here. Staying away. Hmm. All right, we cleared buy side, cleared that short-term low. Q's also moving up. 50% of this daily bearish fair value gap. Monthly VWAP, which would be my target here really, if we can get it. It's 810. We keep on pushing. Bullish volume imbalance here on the mini chart, not on the micro. I'm going to add my position right here. Gonna buy 5 micros here. Perfect. I like this 15-minute close, but this is that overlapping 15-minute volume imbalance. So we do not just have a 5-minute volume imbalance, also a 15-minute volume imbalance. I like when they do overlap. So I'm just trying to get a small entry on already inside of this volume imbalance. Not putting myself or not exposing myself to too much risk for the first trade of the session. Play it slow. It's still Monday. All right. Recording is still running. Just had to reply to a message on Discord. So we're still looking at this bullish fair value gap here. Unless we do some sort of seek and destroy, we should be fine. Because we've cleared a high, then we've cleared the low, now we've cleared the high. If we clear the low one more time, we would pretty much enter seek and destroy conditions. So I would like to see a continuation of this discount into the monthly VWAP, the 50% of the daily bearish fair value gap, and yeah, maybe the high of this 5-minute bearish fair value gap as well. Next buy side target is sitting right here at 4.543. Check out NQ here, still looking strong. And I entered right here on this volume imbalance because I really liked how we have a 5 and 15 minute volume imbalance. After this structure right here, we came back, retested, filled fair value gaps, filled inefficiencies. We didn't retrace super low. I mean, if we measure the range from our most recent swing low, or from the entire daily range basically, we only retraced to around 33% retracement level. Did not go back to 50% yet. But let's see. If we measure our pullback, we could also get an idea of how high we can potentially run using standard deviations. Negative 0.5. So we can see the negative 0.5 standard deviation perfectly lines up with that monthly VWAP. And our one negative standard deviation lines up with the high of right here, this bearish 5-minute fair value gap, like this, that kept holding resistance previously. And then we delivered into more sell side using that fair value gap. Same for this one. And that's where we're sitting at right now. We do not have SMT going on, so that's nice. If Nasdaq would have made a lower high, or ES would have failed to make a higher high, it would be more bearish and wouldn't enter long. I like the fact that we kept this volume imbalance open, so no reason to starting to cut risk. Up here we have a new 5-minute discount that I would like to enter a little position on buy. Two. And down here we're gonna buy another 2. Scaling into the position. We have our targets to the upside. We have a theoretically a bullish market structure shift right here. Cleared short-term low, broke back above the high, so we could also look for our highest up closing candle, which would be this one, as our breaker block. And we can see that this breaker block is perfectly overlapping with this fair value gap. We have some sort of a order block right here. Cleared sell side, no wick to the upside. Displacement leg right next to it. But we might not get our fills and we just run away. That's why I use a smaller entry, or 2 micros, right up here on this volume imbalance. A quick 2.5 handles if we move towards the monthly VWAP. But see, we are starting to hold some resistance at the 50% of this daily bearish fair value gap right here. This entire one. If we check barchart.com, we can also see that we have already switched over to the December contract. if you go over to barchart.com, that's what you have to do. You go on futures, and then you go over to indices. And right here, you're going to get a list of all the current future contracts. And we can see that currently on the ESU contract, we have 188,000 volume. And on ESZ, we have 225,000. The open interest should still be larger. If we click here on more data and go one to the right, we can see that where do we have it? One more to the left. That the open interest is sitting at 548,000 on ESZ. And if we go over to the September contract and click on more data, we can see that the open interest is sitting at 1,000,007. So pretty much 3 times more. But I decided to go with the volume also because the 5-minute chart looked a lot cleaner on the December contracts. That's why I've already made the switch. But ideally, we would like to wait for both the open interest and the volume to exceed the previous contract, the September contract at this point in time. So we just touched that 50% level. Let's see if we get rejected there. Because we didn't fill in any discounts yet. Good morning, FR trader. We're in this trade here currently, going long after we picked up some stops, this short-term low, and we had a pretty strong displacement, also leaving behind bullish discounts. Back above the high, we're inside, now we're above a 4-hour fair value gap. Right here, we have a 1-hour fair value gap high, right at 4532, and also a 4-hour fair value gap high, right here, 4532. And we managed to close above that on the 15 with this massive bullish engulfing candle. And we entered with a small little position, 2 micros, on this volume imbalance, because it was a 5 and 15-minute volume imbalance. The target right now is currently the monthly VWAP. If we go to the daily chart, we can, hourly chart. We can see that monthly VWAP starting right here at the opening of the monthly candle, and we're getting super close to it. It's been a while since we revisited it, so it might be an interesting area to target. We're also inside a daily bearish fair value gap right here from Wednesdays, the Wednesday inefficiency. And right now we're at exactly at 50% of this daily bearish fair value gap right here. No worries. Yeah, on the 5, we had this little, here we have a breaker block paired with an order block. No up close on this wick. Strong displacement, leaving behind discounts. Momentum is sort of slowing down right here. At least it looks like that. We bounced off the midnight open VWAP right here. We haven't retested the daily open VWAP yet. So I'm also open for a short. But let's see. Not going against the trend. Check out NQ. NQ also seems to be consolidating. I'm going to watch, let me here quickly, index futures template. And let's use our different chart. Do quick NQ analysis as well. What's the time? It's 9:29. Let's watch 8:30, and then I'd say we're gonna do some NQ charting as well, starting from a daily time frame. See if we can close above that 50 and where we're going to open. 30 seconds to go. Three, two, one. Bearish volume imbalance. It's also a new 15-minute volume imbalance, but I'm gonna keep it on. I have my buy limits on all these discounts if we go lower and reprice. But yeah, let's quickly do our NASDAQ. Analysis. Alright, so on NASDAQ, we also are inside this. Just keeping an eye on it. Daily bullish fair value gap. Our 50% level is right here. We traded inside of this bearish fair value gap up here. We have a tiny bearish fair value gap, the same as we do on ES. We have this new day opening gap up here. A little new week opening gap over here. And what else? We're inside this daily bullish fair value gap. We cleared this buy side. And now we're starting to push outside of this fair value gap again. So if we drop it down to a hourly chart, we can see that this daily fair value gap lines up with a 1 hour bearish fair value gap here on NASDAQ. Let me check out MES. No, still didn't get filled. Very similar to what we see on ES. ES is just, yeah, a little bit lower than that, since NQ is already outside of this daily bullish fair value gap. So I'm really interested to see if we can close above this 1 hour bearish fair value gap. That's my point of interest for this New York session. Next buy side target would be up here. And then of course up here. Friday. Buy side. This is our previous week's high buy side. Alright, we just got filled. Nice. We have buy side here. Come on. So let's see, now we drop it down to a 15-minute chart. Now we have all our higher time frame reference points. We can see that we've filled in this entire daily bearish fair value gap. We're inside the 1 hour fair value gap. We can use a quarterly range tool to define this 1 hour fair value gap. Split it up into quarters. Let's see, and inside of this we have a bullish fair value gap sitting right here. And we already kept on holding support there. Unless we get a full-on reversal, I would expect price to hold support inside of this bullish fair value gap. To deliver higher, we have equal highs above. The only difference that I see to ES is that ES actually cleared sell side here just before 8 a.m. or at 8 a.m. It cleared the 7:15 low. And right here, 7:15, 8 a.m., we can see that we have bullish divergence here. Which actually here, divergence, no, we're just going to call it SMT with ES. Because ES actually cleared this low. This makes me to believe that ES is the better pair to trade right now, because ES already cleared internal sell side and NQ didn't. NQ might still do that later on. ES already done that. We enter on a discount into the continuation setup. We open up with a new volume imbalance. So let's see if we can trade back above here without leaving bearish fair value gaps. Let's see. You can also check the 50% retracement level. Keep an eye on that. And this is pretty much it. NQ continuing to retrace, short-term high, short-term low. But already outside the daily fair value gap. Just finishing off my analysis here very quickly. If you have any questions regarding my analysis, feel free to ask me. I'm just mapping out the 50% of this NBOK right here. NBOK CE. Right now we have that done as well. Now the last thing, we should label right here. New day opening gap low. And let's quickly get that 50% level. DXY is pulling back. Interesting. But right now I'm expecting ES to do the same thing. To eventually deliver higher. 1977.5. There we go. Alright, we can see ES pull. No, come on. Get rid of it, I don't care. We can see that ES pushed back into this volume imbalance right here from 810 over to 815. Our 830 opening sits right here. I'm also going to keep track of this level. 830 open. Here we have the 50% level of the daily fair value gap, 25% level, midnight open VWAP, the 830 open, our breaker block, and our monthly VWAP. And we see we pulled back, but we managed to stay inside or hold resistance inside of this volume imbalance. So let's see if price wants to use that to deliver lower and fill in those inefficiencies below here, or if it wants to completely reverse or simply push. So we'll find out about that very soon. But I'm ready to add more size to this trade once we get our fill here. We have no SMT divergence. Neither ES nor NQ made a higher high. That's good if we still want to get in on a pullback. All right. I'm quickly going to take a break. I will fill up my water bottle and be back in 2 or 3 minutes. Let's see. I've got my orders set. Everything's shared on screen. And let's see if we can push towards our target, which would be the monthly VWAP. We did not retest this fair value gap. I mean, if you would have had a limit order sitting just there, maybe you got lucky and filled. Otherwise, I try to get in on the 50% of this bullish fair value gap paired with the 50% of this entire move to the upside right here. Since I already entered a 2/3 of my position above the 50%, I would like to get the last third of my position size into more in or filled inside discount or right at the 50% equilibrium. But we might not get it, especially after this push. We're in that last minute of this 5-minute candle. Let's see, that's like always the telling part of the 5-minute candle, because that minute close is going to decide if we have a volume imbalance, if we leave behind a new one, if we leave behind a fair value gap, it's really important where the 5-minute candle is going to close. I like the rejection, but I would have liked to see a close above the volume imbalance. Here NQ did a better job at that, so this would be the potential NQ trade. The same setup that we have on ES, we just didn't clear sell side right here, while on ES we did. We cleared the short-term low. Alright, I'm gonna be back in 2 minutes. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me, and I get to them once I'm back. What's the time? It is 8:45, so we're going to enter the 8:50 till 9:10 macro soon as well. Let's see how that plays out. Alright, I'm back, sorry. We're back live. So I like the fact how we opened up with a new bullish volume imbalance here on the micro chart. Don't focus on the price action, really on the micro chart. I meant the mini chart here to the left. This is the one where I'm doing my analysis from. Let's see if we can get to close above the 50% of this daily bearish fair value gap. That would really be something. 850. Good morning, Scotty. Let's get it started, this AM session. Just going to fill out my journal in the meantime. If you have any questions regarding the setup, feel free to ask me. I even recapped the entire thing. If you joined late or curious. We took a long. It's the first trade for the New York session on account number 3. Just filling it out on my piece of paper, on my trading journal. We took a long continuation. For the confluence, we have SMT divergence with NQ. Right here, we cleared that 7:15 AM low. On NQ, we didn't. NQ SMT. We entered after a NQ SMT, a stop hunt on ES. And after that we had a new bullish market structure shift. Leaving behind a breaker block. Paired with a bullish fair value gap. And against us, we are inside a daily bearish fair value gap at the 50%. We entered at right here on volume imbalance at 8.15 and we scaled in at 8.30. Entry at 8.15, 8:30 a.m. Target the monthly VWAP right here, this black line at 4536 and 5 handles. All right. I also like the fact that we left this volume imbalance open as well. So let's see, our average entry comes in at 4533.25. Right up here. It's an average entry, it's fine. So we entered one contract down here. Or two contracts, 5 handle target. Unfortunately, we didn't get filled down here. This might very likely become a breakaway gap. Let's see. My first partial is going to be right at 4536, the monthly VWAP. And then we're going to see monthly VWAP. We're inside that daily bearish fair value gap. We're starting to make a push. Check out NQ. NQ is making that same push. To a 2-to-1 on NQ. Also at that 50% of the hourly bearish fair value gap. No, I'm not on mute. You should be able to hear me. There's this little green circle around my icon on Discord. Oh, you can't hear me? Alright, let me... Can you hear me now? I hope so. I've been talking this entire time. I didn't know that no one was able to hear me. Well, all I was talking about is that I filled out my journal and added up all the confluences that I entered on. The SMT divergence within Q, new bullish market structure shift, paired with breaker block, order block, and bullish fair value gap. Target the monthly VWAP and 5 handles from here. So let's see if our first partial is going to be executed. Let me keep the chat open. And I also said that I like that we left behind this bullish volume imbalance and that we didn't fill it in. So really, and what I thought about when I left the chart is, yeah, this pullback after we had this strong rally starting from New York local time midnight to the high of the 4-hour and 1-hour fair value gap. I want to measure this retracement and see the standard deviations, what we could potentially target in terms of this pullback. So if we measure this entire range and we use one standard deviation, we would deliver essentially right up here to the 75% level of the daily bearish fair value gap. Roughly, that's one standard deviation. Also lining up with a 5-minute bearish fair value gap to the left. And 50% of this pullback would deliver just to the monthly VWAP. So let's see how we're going to close here. I want to see a strong up closing candle, ideally. We're in that last minute of this 5-minute candle. There we go. Getting closer and closer to that monthly VWAP here on ES. What's Bookmap telling us, Agent Smith? A lot of heat up there. Don't have it. Fair enough. Three, two, one. Starting to get a rejection during the last few seconds of this bullish candle. We used to be up here and then we rejected. But let's see if we can hit our partial. I'm gonna get rid of the buy limit because we already broke this high. So the retracement in my eyes is done for now. If we get back down into these levels, I want to be watching them. We already used the breaker block and the order block as support right here. So I don't think a return back into it is necessary while we're inside of this position. So I'm going to adapt here quickly. Trailing my stop loss. My partial is still at 4536. And then I'm also going to measure, that's 3 handles. And our second entry came off here, that's 2.5. Let's see. I want to see this candle make a new higher high than this previous candle. If it fails to do that, that's already a sign of weakness. And Q keeps on pushing higher. And we secured our partial. Awesome. Let's drop it back to the 5. We kept on pushing. 5 handle target from here, from our lowest entry, would be right up here. Right here we're gonna sell 2. Now let's sell 1 more up here. And start to trail our stop. And to profit. So now we're above the monthly VWAP. And Q is about to, is above the 50% of this daily 1 hour bearish fair value gap. And also pushing higher off the discount. We prefer the ES because ES actually cleared sell side right here. That's 7:15 a.m. low. Which supports the case. So let's see, do we hit our 5 handle target? We're pushing. It's 9 a.m. It's a new hourly candle if you wonder where this momentum is coming from. Check out NQ, also still pushing. Come on, one tick away from our 5-handle target. $30 seconds to go on this 5-minute candle. We want to see a strong close, ideally, right here on the mini chart. One tick away still from our 5-handle target. Maybe we get even a volume imbalance. This would be very interesting if we get one. If I could make a wish. Volume imbalance. Right now would be it. For the long continuation. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Volume imbalance. Right here where we expected it. Alright, so I'm going to trail my stop further into profit. My wish became reality, and we left behind a new volume imbalance, which keeps me confident that we continue higher, that order flow is still bullish. Our 1 standard deviation target from this entire move to the downside, right here, this pullback would be the 75% level, which is going to be my final target for this little trade. Thank you. Really was a nice setup. I realized that once I wrote all the confluences on my trading journal, we had a NQ bullish SMT divergence, we had a stop hunt on ES, a bullish market structure shift after the stop hunt. I'm referencing this right here. Stop hunt, SMT with NQ, because NQ didn't clear the 7:15 AM low. We shifted market structure bullish again after having this little stop hunt, which is making this candle, or turning this candle into a breaker block. We look for the highest up closing candle. After we formed a higher low, higher high, lower low, higher high formation, we have that breaker block paired with a order block and a bullish fair value gap. We opened up at 8:30, kept holding support on these volume imbalances. Yeah, very nice trade. We didn't get a deep retracement, so we took 2 contracts long from this volume imbalance, right from 4533.5. And the other 2 contracts, or micro contracts, I entered with was right here at 4532.75. I had 2 more contracts waiting to be filled right here at the 50%, but that didn't happen. Check out NQ. NQ hit this target. Let's see how high we can trail this thing. Also of that same bullish fair value gap paired with no breaker block. That's why I preferred ES over NQ, because on NQ we do not have this higher low, higher high, lower low, higher high formation. We failed to break this low, so we do not have a breaker block to support this entire idea. While on ES we do. That's why I really enjoyed taking this setup. With our 5-handle target, we left behind a new volume imbalance. My final target is going to be 4541.25, the 75% of this entire daily bearish fair value gap. And also the 1 standard deviation measurement from the pullback that we had starting at 3:45 until 5 AM. This pullback, also on the higher time frame, if we go to the 15, that's the pullback I'm referring to. We had a trend, pulled back, and I measure the pullback from bottom to the top. Then I get a 0.5 standard deviation, a full standard deviation, and I see what that lines up with. And if I like it, I use it as a potential target. Would you ever get in at 8:10 AM? 8:10, 8:10, 8. At the end of the candle, yes. I mean, at 8:10 AM, at the close of this 5-minute candle, we had the market structure shift. But seeing that we leave behind a breaker block, order block, and potential bullish fair value gaps right here at the close of this candle. We already saw that we had a discount left behind here. I much rather prefer to enter on a discount instead of up here, but I entered right here at the 8:10 close because we had a 5-minute and 15-minute bullish volume imbalance right here. So we have the same 8 a.m. close, new 15-minute candle. We have a multi-time frame volume imbalance. I like these. So we entered our first 2 micro contracts up here and added to the position on the discount. So only if we have a strong volume imbalance, then I like to, place a trade right after the market structure shift. But otherwise, I would have simply waited for a retracement into discounts. 8:05 a.m. At 8:05 a.m. you can, but you would have gotten that same entry if you would have just waited for a little retracement. Then you would also have a confirmed direction. But if you're just looking for a quick scalp, like this, for example, right here for 2.5 handles, maybe the 50% of this daily bearish fair value gap, then sure. So now we have a new discount paired with the monthly VWAP right here. And we would like to see that holding support to deliver into our full target up here. It is 9:10 right now. We have 20 minutes until the New York Open. So let's see how that plays out. Our 5-handle target, our volume imbalance has been priced in. Let's see. Yeah, so I always prefer entering on discounts when a complete setup has presented itself. Short-term low, SMT with NQ. Let me also draw it on this chart. And we keep on pumping. NQ, we put that at the center, at the bottom. We make it a green line because it's bullish SMT. We had a little stop hunt, shifted market structure, left behind a breaker block, paired with discounts. That's really an A+ entry in terms of checklist. No conferences you want to add. I know we're relatively up high. I mean, that has been the London session high. We broke through it. If we would have had a market structure shift right here with a candle close below, we could have used it for a potential short, but we didn't leave behind any bearish fair value gaps in here. And instead of doing that, delivering bearishly, we immediately shifted structure back above the London session high right here, leaving behind bullish discounts, inefficiencies with a breaker block and SMT divergence within Q. Very, very nice setup. So let's see what we're going to do right here. We cleared the high one more time. And queued it as well. And relatively speaking, NQ is already above the daily fair value gap high on Tuesday. Has been stronger than ES. Also last week, didn't retrace as much. And on ES, we're actually still inside the daily fair value gap, starting from 4,500 roughly to 4,545. So a 45-point wide bullish fair value gap. That's overlapping with a daily bearish fair value gap, this red box. And we have the quarterly ranges of this entire daily bearish fair value gap to get a rough idea of what price could do inside of this big zone. Last 2 minutes of this 15-minute candle, every time at 9:10, 9:25, 9:40, we have the closing of a 15-minute candle. Important to keep these times in mind. That's usually when new volume enters the market. There's also a 1-hour candle right here. We had this 9 a.m. pump, new hourly candle opening. And also at 10 a.m. where we actually have a new 4-hour candle opening. So that's usually the times throughout the day if you're scalping intraday where there's likely some volatility or momentum entering the market from the higher time frames. "40 seconds to go." I feel like I have to give it some more room. But if we manage to close below this bullish fair value gap, I'm going to close the trade. We close right at the low of it. Not really ideal, because that could really fuel a potential pullback. Let me see, 50% of this range we already added. My stop loss is right at the optimum. I'm gonna put my stop at break even plus 1 tick. See if we can continue with this trend. If we don't, we already secured enough profit for this pre-New York Open session. And instead of entering a new position, I rather leave that one runner on with my stop at break even, a risk-free trade, targeting the SPY side, maybe here for the New York opening. No SMT divergence with NQ whatsoever. Nothing. We can check the 15 if we have, we have a 15-minute bullish fair value gap right here that we could use as potential support. So we're gonna keep that on the chart. We have our volume imbalances that theoretically could stop price. Or a continuation up higher. I'm gonna go to the bathroom quickly before the New York Open. And yeah, then we will see how this trade is going to play out, if it's just another retracement or if we're actually going to pick up some sell stops below here or some buy stops below this short-term low right here. Shifting market structure theoretically. Yeah, that depends on the volatility for this New York Open session. If we just continue to go up higher straight away. Stops at break even, so nothing at risk here. Let's see. Did anyone else catch this trade right here from the beginning of the live stream, where we entered on this volume imbalance and on my buy limits down here? Clean 5-handle setup. Right, I'm going to be back in a sec. Can you guys hear me? Having troubles with being on Discord at my phone at the same time. Perfect. Alright, so I don't like the fact that we close below this bullish fair value gap and leaving behind a new bearish fair value gap, but we could use it as potential support into the New York Open. Check out NQ here. So really what I want to see now is a close-up of this bearish fair value gap to be flipped into a inversion fair value gap to help us to deliver into this buy-side objective. Otherwise, we're going to use it as resistance to deliver lower and pick up a few stops below here, below here. Going to be a very interesting open. We have buy side above here, sell side below 4531.75 and 4526.75, and of course here and here. Last minute of this 5-minute candle. Our stops at break even, we entered from down here. That's our last little contract that we left on running. Depending on the close of this candle, I might close the position if we have a strong rejection here. But if we manage to close above it, we should be fine, reaching for buy side. 30 seconds to go before New York opens up. No, it's 9:20. Oh, sorry guys. So we have 6 more minutes essentially. Somewhat of a stronger rejection, bearish volume imbalance. I don't like that. I keep it on, it's a risk-free trade. Let me quickly check the P&L for this TraderWeight account here. $50, that's fine. London session account ended at break even. The Scalping Pro strategy account, the Apex version, is in profit. We had a winning trade and a break even trade today. Let me open it up here quickly. YM. No, that's not the right template. Alright, we need the Scalping Pro YM Futures template on our chart. Today we had one break-even trade, depending on your stop loss placement on YM. I entered right here and used a 1 bar stop because we had a 8-tick stop loss, which is fine. But we already hit our 1.5 risk reward here, so I got stopped out at break-even on this exact candle, with my take profit target being here. And then we had the London Open candle, where we had a new entry signal, and once again I used a 1 bar stop, targeting a 2-to-1, and my take profit target has been hit, making it a one break even, one winning day here on YM. On ES we actually even had a better result today. I'm keeping track of ES at this point in time. We had a long entry down here, which had take profit. 1.5 hand, no minimum stop loss requirement. We had our profit target right here on the 3 AM candle, 305 actually. And at this point in time, we were in no position anymore. So we can also enter with a 1 bar stop here, targeting a 2-to-1. Hit our take profit, so we had 2 winning trades. And down here we entered. We use a 1.5 minimum stop below the VWAP. And we also hit our 2-to-1 risk reward, so 3 winning trades, and right here we had a little losing trade, which is fine. So we're essentially up 5R for the session by using a very simple indicator-based strategy. I can only recommend it if you have the opportunity to trade the London session. If you don't, the New York session is still fine, but the results aren't better than the results that we see during the London kill zone. Let's wait for this candle to close. NQ1 is moving to the downside. S&P is moving up. Check out NQ here. YM is also pushing. YM didn't clear the London buy side so far. So the signal really would have been a very good one. I think during New York it makes more sense to use these signals with confluence. I mean, right here we just had a bullish fair value gap. We get a short entry. We cleared sell side. Sort of shifted market structure, pulled back into a discount. And then right here, I hope that makes sense why this entry short with discounts below us makes less sense than this entry right here, where we already came out of a discount, where we could simply target the London session high for a quick 2-to-1 risk reward trade. All right, New York opened up, perfect. Let's see if we can continue higher, or if we just get a rejection wick. We have equal highs now. We can see that ES is stronger than NQ. So I'm simply going to set an alert right here. Add alert. YM broke the London session high and ES left behind equal highs. We keep on pushing. We cleared buy side. Let's see if we hit our last take profit target. I'm gonna move my stop below the New York open low, 925 low. Ah, that's the New York open candle. Sorry, guys. We cleared buy side liquidity. Now we have a inversion fair value gap right here. This bearish fair value gap paired with this bullish fair value gap. A new 5-minute fair value gap right here. And this would be a 8.5 handle take profit target. Check out NQ. NQ is also starting to push back up, but we did not, break this high right here. YM is flying. So I really think, I hope that it makes sense to you that this is a better signal than the short signal, in my opinion at least. NQ just broke the high. I heard the alert trigger. Check out ES, about to hit our last take profit target. And there we go. 75% of the daily bearish fair value gap. Right here. And also 1 standard deviation of our London session pullback, where we pulled back from 3:40 AM down to 4:55 AM. So I measure from the low to the high, and to get 1 standard deviation, I could have kept on holding because I think we're gonna break above the daily fair value gap high. I'm already glad that I took this banger. Awesome trade. And what do we have up here? That's our next buy side liquidity. Up here, right at 4.543 and a quarter, and then at 4.545, pretty much where we have that high of the daily bullish fair value gap inside of this daily bearish fair value gap. And so far all we really did was expand, consolidate, and then we broke out of this consolidation. I hope that's clear for everyone. We consolidated here, we broke out of it after sweeping the short-term low. Let me zoom back in. After sweeping the short-term low, we had a new bullish market structure shift. Bounced off the breaker block paired with a bullish discount here on the 5-minute. And then from here on, we kept on pushing and very likely gonna hit our next target up here. We had SMT divergence within Q. We bounced off the midnight open VWAP right here, and Q did not clear the 715 low right here. That's a 715 low. Divergence with ES. And yeah, after seeing this with the breaker block right here on stream, I placed my first entry right here on this volume imbalance, securing most of it on the monthly VWAP right here at 4536 or 50%. Then I closed one more micro contract at 5 handles, and the last micro contract you just saw me hitting this take profit target at the 75%. I could keep on holding, but I'm out of micros to exit on. I did not fully expect a continuation straight upward like this without clearing any short-term low. So this could also be the initial fake out for a run on stops. But yeah, lovely how the analysis played out prior to the New York Open. That's why I like to start the live stream at 8 AM, because usually the New York Open is setting up inside of that timing window. And here we had a simple New York Open continuation setup of a breaker block. Let's see, we just cleared this buy side liquidity. Now we didn't clear it, but we tapped it. Now we cleared it. All these equal highs to the left, right here. Next buy side liquidity would be right at 4545. But we already got a mild rejection from that level. Let's see if we can close above the 75%. Did anyone catch the long of the breaker block with the fair value gap, the one I outlined? Successfully made 88 bucks. Nice. I know it could be more if I would use minis, but I'm fine with it. I'm content with enough. Playing it slow. Getting back into the groove on Monday. That's what's most important for me. If I start Monday and put myself in drawdown, that's a bad start for into the new week, and in general for the mindset, not the best, because you want to jump back into the new trading week, start to make profits. You completely fail at that, and that's gonna drag you down for the rest of the trading week. So I like to start out with micros, especially for the New York session, and these small profits add up as well. You do not always have to aim for too much, especially if you're learning, practicing, tape reading. Never be afraid to use micros. That's the execution I like to see. Very beautiful. Entered on discounts, exited in profit. Let's see if we can reach that daily fair value gap high, and Q is already above that. Reference point is down here on NQ. YM kept on flying after this signal right here, and another continuation signal up here, but I don't like it. That's why I don't like the New York session, because your stop is usually too big. You would have to trade micros then for the scalper strategy on YM. Otherwise, you'd just be risking too much. A 53 tick stop loss, too much for my liking. Alright, we started to get a rejection. We leave equal highs on ES. I'm not going to stream long today because I have to pick something up, because we're still installing the solar panels on our roof today. And I gotta pick something up so we can continue to work. So I'm glad we got in on that trade at 8 AM. Throughout the New York Open. Very nice. Now we're starting to get a rejection. Note that we have this bullish discount here if we check the 15. No fair value gap so far. 10 handles of our entry were hit easily. But yeah, we secured all of it right here. So we can see that NQ is about to shift market structure and already picked up some stops below this low. Maybe it wants to continue lower to pick up these stops. NQ didn't do it. We had this SMT with ES right here, where ES cleared this low. That's why I preferred executing on ES over NQ. But let's see, we're starting to get a very strong rejection and random. Where do we get it from? The 75%. We have open with a bullish volume imbalance. We never violated with a candle body, and we reject. So NQ is running for these stops. A little fake out up here. If we check the 1 minute, would there have been a good entry opportunity other than a turtle soup? Not really. We haven't used a discount so far to deliver lower. So now we cleared the 8 AM low as well, did we? No, not yet. Yes, it's closing below this bullish fair value gap, this inversion fair value gap, and this bullish fair value gap right here. Let's see if it's actually going to close below that. If so, I could also see it clearing this sell side and this sell side. But I already had my winning trade for today. I'm not going to take another trade on my accounts. I'm fine with that. Winning trade on the Scalping Pro this morning. Now we have our market structure shift. Let's see how we close here. Super strong bearish close. If we check the 1 minute, also pretty tough to get an entry. Other than this volume imbalance, nothing you could have used. We just got back to the 8:30 open, picked up some stops. Tough one. I'm not fully sold on the short idea yet. If we leave behind a 5-minute bearish fair value gap though, I would try it. Going short. If we get a 5-minute bearish fair value gap here, I would take that trade because it's essentially a 2022 YouTube model. Check out NQ here. Go back to the 5. Sorry guys, my mic just dropped. And if we manage to close below here, I think we could really accelerate lower quickly to clear even the sell side down here, because all we did so far was expand. We could see a potential retracement. Let's measure the 50% of the current daily range from the low to the high. 50% would be sitting just around 4526. Can keep that in mind as well. Strong rejection on the hourly, on the 15. 10-minute into this order block down here. Right here, it's really an order block on the 10. There you see it well. We have no wick to the upside. We engulfed this candle immediately after picking stops paired with NQ SMT divergence, leaving behind a fair value gap, and that's essentially where we entered on this continuation trade. So the setup is much cleaner on the 10-minute than the 5, but we have better entry opportunities here. So let's see, 2 minutes to go. Are we interested in taking this short? Let's find out. So if we enter off the low of the fair value gap, a 5-handle stop would be up here. And we could target easy 8.25 handles, if not even more. Yeah, so if we get the opportunity and if we do not bounce off this breaker block, order block, one more time, we already bounced off it to the lever and to buy side. So yeah, I'm curious to see if we cannot get a short out of this, because essentially this is the YouTube model forming right here. So I'm gonna get rid of this previous structure that we already used to frame a trade. It's still there, but right now I'm more interested in the bearish case. Get rid of that. We have a inversion fair value gap paired with a potential bearish fair value gap right here. We have a market structure shift. Bearish there. We're back below 50%. We might just keep on dropping. We're now in that last minute, but I'm certainly going to have my sell limit right here and right here. Just 2 micros. I'm fine with that. 14 seconds to go. And I would add 1 more micro right at the 50% if we retrace into that. So we're inside of our midnight open, daily open, VWAP range right here. NQ already cleared plenty of sell side, so this also has a potential for SMT divergence. YM didn't pull back that much at all. We're now inside this bullish fair value gap, also a pretty big one. But NQ is relatively speaking strong. NQ is the weakest, has picked up all these stops now. And ES is seems to be following suit with NQ here. And what I also want to notice that we have a breaker block down here, the lowest down closing candle on the 5-minute time frame. This is our new bearish breaker block for the YouTube model. Our VWAP, 8:30 open, let's see. Of course, you could already enter on this candle, but yeah, I prefer entering on discounts instead of jumping in with market orders. It's not my style. And sometimes that means that, yeah, you're gonna miss out on opportunities where we just have a quick sell-off, a initial Judas swing to the upside, followed by a market structure shift. But if we do not get the opportunity to enter on discounts after the YouTube model has formed, I'm not really interested in it. I'm also not dropping down to the 1-minute time frame because we can see we also didn't fill a single discount here. So it's fine if we stay on the 5, in my opinion. We cleared sell side here. Next sell side target would be right here. And then that next sell side target would be down here. So let me fill out my journal. Target 5 handles, monthly VWAP, +1 standard deviation of London pullback, 75% of the daily bearish fair value gap. And we hit our targets and secured $88, I think. Oh, just $88, but that's fine. It's not about how much money you make, it's about the setup, your execution, your performance in general. $88. Profit. And I would consider this a game. Execution. Management. Perfect. B game. So we keep on dropping, unfortunately without a good entry opportunity. But we didn't clear the sell side yet. On NQ we are already below the 5 AM low pretty much here. While on ES that reference point would be all the way down here. But if we do not get a chance to enter on discounts, we could potentially use this inversion fair value gap. We already invalidated the breaker, but we have used that, so it's fine. We got these 8.5 handles out of this inversion fair value gap, or the breaker. And this might just be a quick sell-off. 3-minute time frame, no discounts. 1-minute time frame, other than aggressive volume imbalance entries, really not much you can enter on. You could chase, but yeah, I'm not a fan of that. Well, maybe. There could have been an entry once we closed below the slow right here at 9:35 and we returned inside of this breaker block. So yeah, really, there was an entry opportunity. Looking at it like from right now, we had a inversion fair value gap. Let me zoom in here. Get rid of this trade here. Get rid of the volume imbalances. We had a bullish. Now that's a 15-minute fair value gap, so forget about that. Right now, I would be interested to see if we continue to be that bearish, so I try an entry short of the inversion fair value gap. Immediate rebalance level, only 2 micros to target, yeah, this London low down here. Because this fair value gap will likely be a breakaway fair value gap, or later throughout the AM session we might pull back. But I'm trying to get into the short continuation into sell side. Strong rejection wick here on NQ on the 5-minute time frame. On YM1 we also repriced to the VWAP. Let's see if we get our entry on the inversion. I'm not sure if we get it. Before we clear the sell side, this would have been the idea. If we clear the sell side before filling in the, yep, I'm really not that interested in getting in anymore. Yeah, so other than this breaker block entry after shifting market structure, closing below it, this would have really been a good entry. I'm not sure what I did at this point in time. I will have to, yeah, watch the entire live stream recording, or not the entire recording, but especially what happened at 9:40. That made me miss this obvious setup. We pumped up, had a very strong bearish engulfing, close below this bullish fair value gap, and below the strong closing candle. So we shifted market structure, confirmed by a candle close, leaving behind a breaker block. We retest the breaker, so a quick sell-off instead of a pullback continuation lower. Interesting. Right here, this bearish fair value gap, that's what I wanted to see to get filled, without noticing that we already repriced into the breaker block, which would have been an easy almost 10 handle short now. But now we're starting to get some rejection. Same here on NQ, because this could potentially lead to SMT divergence, because ES didn't clear low while NQ did. Did anyone get into the short on ES or in Q? Even YM, if you're scalping YM, would be really interesting. Yes, 10 a.m. has a nice reaction because it is a opening of a new 4-hour candle, which brings in lots of momentum and volume. So one thing that I don't like is that we have bullish SMT divergence with NQ, and that NQ is leaving behind a strong rejection wick, now starting to push strongly into the opposite direction. ES didn't clear this low, so we have bullish SMT divergence here. That's why I'm not a fan of getting my entry down here. Yes, it could work, but I think I would have to cover too much room to the upside. Let's say we get an entry off here. That's... No, I don't like that. Might still work out. But... No, it's the YouTube model, so I think I'm going to take it. I'm gonna get my first entry short of the immediate rebalance level, if I get that chance. Because we have this bearish fair value gap here. We already touched my entry. Let's check out H. Smith's chart. And then we have another bearish fair value gap up here. And a big one up here. Right, we got filled. We have our breaker block from here to here on the micro. I'm gonna start partialing into this trade, targeting the sell side. $4531.50. 4533. Yeah. So here we have the inversion fair value gap paired with this bearish fair value gap. That's why I'm interested in getting short down here already, paired with the VWAP. We managed to close below that. So if we continue lower from here, the lowest point where we could reject from is right here. So I'm getting in on that already. And I'm stacking, or I'm adding to the position if I get in at a better discount. If not, then so be it. We have equal highs above. We cleared the short-term low. My target for this little scalp would be down here at this low. Let's see, we also had a bullish fair value gap here. That's also interesting. It could have been a potential entry. We closed below this bullish fair value gap that kept holding support right here. You can see, kept holding volume imbalance. We managed to close below it, and we came back in it to retest it and deliver lower essentially. So we might not get a bigger retracement. I learned that out of experience, to get at least a partial in on that lowest discount, especially if lots of confluences add up or stack up at this level, which would be this inversion fair value gap where we entered long off earlier, paired with the daily opening VWAP, paired with this bearish fair value gap, because we do not always get these higher retracements. Sometimes we just continue to run for sell side. Alright, so we cleared the sell side liquidity. SSL taken. NQ is pushing lower as well without tapping into the fair value gap. That's confirming it for me. I could keep on holding to this trade to maybe even clear the Asian session low. We will see. But the most important lesson that I learned trading micros is that just because you make smaller profits, it doesn't mean that you should wait for a 20 handle take profit target essentially. And because it's much harder to hit than a 7.75, for example, where we have liquidity, where we could actually see price move towards. And do the same thing that you would do with minis. And that's the best advice if you want to practice with micros, especially at the beginning of a new trading week. It's really important how you start into a trading week, in my opinion. Alright, so we kept holding that lowest discount before we reach sell side. I'm going to get rid of the sell limits and actually going to place a buy stop at break even here, one tick before break even. If we manage to get back all the way up here, so be it. Unfortunate, but I want to see this sell side to be delivered to finish this move right here. We pumped up from this level to run into buy side. We had our market structure shift, breaker block short. I also want to see the sell side to be taken to finish this entire little setup here. And if not, that's okay too. If I would have been in with more than one micro, yes, I would have already taken a partial on the sell side. I'm not sure why I only entered with one micro, because very likely I already made profits today. So I'm not really super keen on giving them away. And if we manage to bounce completely here, then so be it. Let's see, 2 minutes to go on this 5-minute candle. Not the biggest fan of it. Let's check the 15. Did we hit 5 handles? Yeah, we hit 5 handles easily. Yeah, so with a mini, I would already be out the trade. So that's me making the mistakes that I mentioned on the live stream to not make. Just because you enter with a smaller position size. I usually just look for these 5 handles because they're super easy to catch. Very simple. And yeah, this would have essentially been a 5.5 handle move just to this low right here. Or at least take partials, but I didn't have the ability to take a partial with my position size of 1 micro contract. Yeah, well, mistake. But I'm certainly going to add that into the journal because I Get as many insights as I can possibly gather about my trading style. So that's the second New York session trade on the account 03. We entered ES1 short. After 5 minute bearish market structure shift. We entered off the lowest discount. Entry of the lowest discount. 2022 model. I also have to note that. Lowest discount paired with inversion of fair value gap. Out bullish fair value gap. That we used to deliver into buy side. A Tudor swing at the New York Open and at 9:35 strong bearish rejection, engulfing, close below, most recent higher low, which is making that market structure shift confirmed, and it retraced into the breaker. But this happened too quick. Missed that opportunity. Entry of lowest discount. Plus inversion fair value gap. Entry of lowest discount with 1 micro. Plan was to scale into the position. But we immediately rejected and delivered into sell side. Target. How many handles? 7.75. Major sell side. Between London and New York. Alright, I'm done with my journal entry. That's how detailed I make it to get as much, to gather as many insights as possible, really. That's the entire goal of my journal. I even put in emotions, but on this trade I barely felt any. That's awesome. And I also have to note that we rejected off the daily open midnight VWAP. Plus rejection of daily open VWAP. Nice. So we do leave behind equal lows. I like that for a potential continuation. This is engineered liquidity in my opinion. Let's check out NQ. NQ is also pushing lower. We have these wicks to the upside now. Check out YM. YM also had this pump and dump setup. Didn't clear the New York session low just yet. But also very interesting. NQ delivers lower. Let's see what ES does. Our stop is at break even. We're fine. We already made our profit today. I want to see if we can clear the sell side next, basically. All right. Update, stop at break even. After rejection, +5 handle, hit. Perfect. The time is 4:09, so if we hit our take profit target very soon, hopefully. It's 10 a.m. as well, so we have a new 4-hourly candle. We started to reject. I like that. Let's see if we get some more momentum to the downside now on this new hourly, 4-hour and 15-minute candle. Preferably to the downside. Check out NQ here, check out YM. We didn't close below the lowest discount yet, so we could use that as potential support. Our lowest inversion fair value gap would be right here. And remember, we have bullish SMT with NQ at the moment. That could potentially fuel a reversal because NQ cleared the London session low. The low we're aiming for on ES right here. Yeah, and we tried to get short of that lowest discount. Let's see if it plays out. If not, that's fine as well. If it doesn't play out, I think we're gonna revisit these higher discounts with high probability. I don't like this new 4-hour volume that we're putting in, so I'm going to check the hourly chart and the 4-hour chart as well to see what we're working with. We have a 4-hour bullish fair value gap now. We filled in all the discounts on the 4-hour chart, but still this looks rather bullish. My stop's at break even, so and I gotta go very soon as well. Ja. Der Date jetzt losfahre. Ja. Der Michael. Ja, ich bin jetzt gleich fertig. Ich bin gerade noch am Arbeiten. 1 Minute oder wie lange? Ich fahre hinterher, ich habe doch die Adresse. Okay. Alright, here we are back. Just a little notice that I should really get going. But let's see, I want to see our sell side to be hit first. Already cleared these equal lows. And there goes our take profit target. What a way to end this live stream. YouTube model played out to deliver into sell side. I'm not aiming for much more. If you continue to trade, you could look for a potential SilverBullet setup. If we leave behind a new bearish discount to enter, we have our Asian session low down here. We have our London session low down here somewhere. Well, we pretty much cleared that really. So we cleared that sell side as well. Very beautiful trades. Here we have the 50% level. Let me zoom out here and really show what we're working with. So we're still inside this daily bullish fair value gap. We got very close to the high of it with the fake pump at the 9:30 opening. Then we had our market structure shift, went short of the breaker block to continue lower to clear sell side. Right here, we continued lower from there using inversion fair value gaps to deliver lower. Yeah, and this was pretty much a trading session. We successfully secured almost 16 handles. No, we did secure 16 handles, 16.25 handles. I did not expect for price to immediately deliver lower, especially after this rejection wick. That's why I just wanted to get my first entry on the VWAP, the second entry right here on this discount, and the next entry on this highest discount, scaling into the trade. Well, luckily for me, didn't happen because I have to get going now. I hope you enjoyed watching the stream. If you have any questions, ask me right now because I really have to get going. I will upload the entire recording to YouTube later on. I will share that on the Discord. But I'm not going to participate anymore. So NQ also broke the low. Let's see. Sell side, obviously, at the current low of the day. Easier for me to show on ES. Right here, down at 4508. We have all these inefficiencies here. And if we look at the volume profile, that's the last thing I'm going to do. Fixed range volume profile for the entire trading day. From low to the high, or from the beginning to the high, we can see that we have a major volume inefficiency down here. So if we break below this last level of resistance, which would be the daily fair value gap, I could really see us revisit the New York midnight level, because that's the best level, or let's say level that's more likely to be protected, especially since we have some volume backing it up. Right here, look at where we entered on. Our entry was right on the VWAP, inside of this inversion fair value gap and bearish fair value gap, and we also had the volume point of control right here at this level. Very interesting to see. But now, yeah, we cleared that sell side. We could potentially retrace to fill in some more discounts, or we could simply, yeah, drop down completely. But I will see about, yeah, I will do a recap as well about the trades that I took today on the live stream. I'm planning on doing daily ES recaps. After, yeah, we finished with maybe the AM session, I'm going to recap the entire London session and the New York session, the AM session. And yeah, I'm planning on doing that on a daily basis. Also, yeah, sharing the results of the Scalper Pro strategy on YM and ES1 on a daily basis. That's at least the plan. And yeah, I think that's it. Analysis played out perfectly. Can't really complain today. Awesome. Let me just finish filling out the journal. So we're up 126 now. We made 88, 126, 12, 38 bucks. And I hope that helps some of the viewers as well. That you do not always have to aim for big profits, especially if you're just starting out on a week. Because last week I think I had that experience where I put my funded account in $400 drawdown. Now I was in profit, but I lost pretty much all of it on the first trading day of the week, and it really, yeah, lowered my confidence for the rest of the week. It definitely had an impact, that carryover emotions, you could say. And yeah, so I'm very happy about that. Yeah, starting off slow, just with micros. And there's nothing wrong about it. You get the confidence. It's Monday without news, so likely we could have also had some consolidation. We have CPI news on Wednesday, right here at 8:30 a.m. And we have another high impact news day on Thursday. So really just playing it slow, getting started into the new trading week. This was my plan, executed very well. Also outlined in the weekly outlook on Sunday that I uploaded on Sunday for ES. Yeah, and that's it. Thanks very much for sitting in here with me today. I really appreciate you guys. And I hope, even though it's not financial advice, of course, you could, yeah, gather some insights about the trades that I took and maybe executed them yourself. I mean, I do it all on screen. Yeah, if not, maybe paper trades. It's also good practice to paper trade on Mondays, getting into the groove of things. So yeah, all right, guys, that's gonna be it for me. Once again, thanks very much for sitting in here with me. Trade safe for the rest of the session. Maybe look for a potential SilverBullet opportunity, even though I think it already came at 9:55 for a simple 7.75 handle continuation. This really is a SilverBullet setup. 9:55, 10 a.m. It was created prior to that. So yeah, actually caught the SilverBullet. This would have been the YouTube model up here. Break a block, close below, retrace into it, continue lower. But I missed that. Alright guys, now for sure having a hard time to close the charts. But it is what it is. Take care and trade safe.